Okay, I am back. Before I get started, I need to test one thing because I had a whole bunch of audio issues this morning. So I just want to go check my monitor. There we go. I can verify that there is sound. All right, so why? Sorry, I'm just noticing that on OBS it keeps moving my windows around. Sure, whatever. I'm here now. I've been having so many computer problems. For some reason, I have a DAS that's connected to my Mac Studio, and the drives keep getting corrupted, and I can't figure out what the problem is with it. And I spent most of my morning just trying to figure out if I need to rebuild or build a new DAS or DAC or not DAC, a DAS or NAS. I don't know. I'm just tired of fighting with all these hard drives that stop working. So that being said, what I've done is I've actually moved everything locally so that I don't break things while I'm trying to back them up. So here's where we left off yesterday. We didn't do anything here. And my goal, oops, now all of a sudden my mouse doesn't want to work correctly. Just not what I wanted to happen today. Come on. Why can't I? Oh, it's not going to let me. It won't let me scroll unless I zoom in more. Okay, fine. I got this project going. So what we're going to do today, and what we found out yesterday, was that I actually don't need to have unique tiles like the A, B, C, D that you see on the tile map. What I noticed yesterday was that I was able to actually change them on their own. So the first thing we're going to do is, let's just quit out of this and back this guy up. I was trying to version control these before, and they don't seem to like to be version controlled. Where is? I'm trying to remember how you do this. Send to. I'm constantly switching between Mac and PC, and I can never remember the two. All right, and then what we have here is trying to see what we have. Meta tiles. These are all the tiles for the game. I'm just trying to get a couple things up and running. Platform patterns. These are all the platform patterns that we were working out yesterday, and I can go into explain the math of this a little bit more. But long story short, I wanted to create a level editor so that you can share the code with others, and in order for that to work, I need to come up with ways of compressing it. So what I did was I came up with these ideas of just breaking the map up into quadrants and then being able to sort of piece it all back together. Although the more I think about it, the more I was sort of on the fence of whether I should do something else. I don't think this is the right file. I think editor is the one I was working on. Yeah. My gut's really telling me that I should be breaking these up into more columns. My only problem is, all right, I don't have a calculator on this stupid computer. This is next on my list to fix too. Where's Numi? I'll just do this on my other computer. So, wait, where's, open up, there we go. All right, let me delete all the math from yesterday. So what I wanted to figure out was that if it's 20 tiles wide and we divide that by 5, that gives us 4. And then if we have 10 divided by 2, it's actually 10 divided by 2. So that gives us 4 by 5 sections. So 4 multiplied by 5 winds up being 20. And so the problem is that this just winds up becoming 20 characters for the level just out the bat with just this stuff. Now, the issue of what I was trying to figure out was that I have this space over here. I was trying to assume that I could make this a little bit I can make this a little smaller by not including this last column, and then I can just always tell that if this ends in any one of these where it only has one or it has two, then I can fill this in. But I don't think the math is going to work, and I don't want to get stuck on this too much right now. I'm going to do some high level stuff. What I actually wanted to see was if I did 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we have 4 by 4, 16. If I can figure out a way to get these to be 5 by 3. All right, this is just a whole other like rabbit hole to go down, and we'll go down this later. What I really want to do is get, let's clean up these windows here a little bit more. Just cleaning up some stuff on my other computer that I'm on. Okay, let's open this up. And there was something I noticed yesterday when I messed around with this tile map. What I noticed was that it actually it like changed the colors and offsets. So I'm going to do this real quick. I want to do a real quick test just to see if editing any of this stuff actually screws things up. Let's just go find documents, assets, backgrounds. What I wanted to do was, let's do view, grid settings. This will be 8 by 8. Okay. I wanted to see if I just turned, we do Shift S to get the snapping going. And what I was curious about was just simplifying this a bunch where, whoops, I should undo that. I for our eyedropper, and then we'll hit F to fill. What I wanted to see was, in order to simplify this a little bit more, can we get away with just having a single platforms and not messing with this? I had this other, like when in the other version I had it where you can have double platforms, you can have single, and it's just going to cause too much trouble. So I think if we just keep it as single, the biggest concern right now is that I'm going to have to do a lot of concessions in order to make this shareable. And I'm trying to figure out how much I can pare this already basic game down to something that will work. So let's do this. I'm just going to save this as is right now. Let's go back into GB Studio. We are going to reload the asset and let's play it. What I want to see right now is that if changing any of these tiles just breaks this meta tile setup, because if that's the case, then what I'll do is I'll just strip this out, rebuild it, and we'll just get everything to where it needs to be first, and then we'll actually do the then we can actually do the wiring up. Sorry, I'm also trying to think of like all the things that need to get done in this game, and there's a lot, especially if I want to get this game done in a week. But today, my goal, I'll probably stream for half of the day, and then the rest of the day I'll just do it on my own, is that I need to get this to a place where, oh hey, good, it didn't screw up. Whoops. Ugh, I'm having this weird keyboard issue where for some reason like my keys are delayed. All right, so that was the platform test. We can go through and now we have all these others. Okay, so let's close this out and let's now go, and the next test that I want to do is I want to get rid of this and this, and just make it the regular background. So let's save, and then we'll go back to Game Boy Studio and we'll recompile. So the sort of my thinking about how I want to handle this today is that what we're going to do is we're going to go through, let's actually just make a little list. Oh, wait. Oh, it just loaded up. Okay. I want to see real quick if I can still change that tile. Yes. Okay. So this was the issue that I was trying to make sure that I can do. So I can change a single tile right now. And because of this plugin that I'm using, it doesn't actually, before, if you use Game Boy Studio's built-in, if you use their built-in way of replacing tiles, it'll replace the tile that you choose, but all the instances of that tile. This one's actually just copying a tile from that meta tile scene into memory at the place where it needs to be. I wonder if, I don't think the GRAM isn't, the VRAM isn't showing the backgrounds and stuff. Because you'd be able to see something changing. I don't know why, it's funny, I don't know why this doesn't draw the backgrounds, but okay, doesn't matter. We can do this, and once we can do this, this means that we can do a level editor. So what I wanted to try to figure out is, let's do this. This is the editor. We're going to move him over here. And these are the meta tiles. And while we're at it, let's just do this. We're going to delete, modify, view, grid, settings. Okay. Snap to the grid. And so I want to delete this whole thing right here. And I have a feeling this is going to break the meta tiles, but that's fine because I think it shouldn't be too hard to replace them and fix them. What I was thinking about doing was, is there a way that I can get, actually that's not what I want there. Is there a way that I can, I'm trying to think of like all the things that I need to actually place down. All right, let me just erase this for a second and see what happens. And if this breaks GB Studio. And then while that happens, I was going to pull up Visual Studio Code. Okay. Hey, it didn't break. Whoops. So what I'm kind of curious to see is now if I just go through each of these tiles, it should be right here. Oh, but I know I didn't break because I didn't refresh the artwork. Or reload the artwork. What is going on here? All right, I'm going to get rid of this. And then as far as the palettes go, I was just going to go back to the default palette here. And now if we reload the assets. Oh, I think I know what I think I know why I'm such an idiot. I should probably be getting more sleep. Okay, I didn't change anything here. I didn't actually save this out. So let me just export this as PNG. We want to put this into downloads, documents, Reaper Boy, assets. We need to save it in two places. We need to save it in the background. Yes. Export. And then we need to also export it in tile sets. Okay, so now, oh, that sucks. This one's the weirdly broken one. Shoot. Let me just fix this real quick. Wait, oh, no. All right, get rid of snapping. Save, and I just want to make sure that all the letters and everything are good. Okay, so let's re-export this. We'll export it there, and we'll export this into the other folder. If I can actually make these changes, then I'll clean up this meta tile thing, and then we'll go on from there. Although my concern is that it's just going to break everything, and I might just have to rebuild. So let's do a little experimenting just to see what we need to do and how fragile this meta tile plugin is, and then we'll go from there. So we reload assets. I see it's already been done. Let's load this back up. So what I'm thinking of doing, oh wait, this background is too small, must be at least event. So the error cannot find matching meta tile for coordinate 27. For 20. Wait. 27. You can't find that one tile? Oh, I see. Shoot. I see what happened here. I had some weird issue where this all got corrupted. I wonder, did I not save those fixes? Cool. Cool. And I just deleted that. It's okay. I'm going to open this up from one of my backups. I'll just go back to the workspace. Workspace, Jesse, projects, GB Studio, meta tiles, assets, backgrounds, meta tiles. There we go. Copy this out, close this, come here, meta tiles, and we're just going to paste this over it, and I'll just remove this again. Okay. That is the correct one now. So we'll save it here locally so we have it. And then, why am I hearing like Windows errors? Is that over here? Oh, well, I don't know. I think it's my laptop keeps, like, something keeps connecting and disconnecting from it. And I'm not 100% sure what it, nothing works. No technology that I own works. It's just all broken constantly. All right, so let's do this. We now need to export this in the assets meta tiles here. And then we need to export as this and go into assets, tile sets, this tile set. Replace, export, yes. Just making sure that everything didn't break again. Now let's reload the assets and let's recompile and see if this fixes it. Okay, oof, thank God. All right, so at least I can still do this, and cycling through all these tiles still works. This next one's probably going to be empty space until we get back to the other stuff. Okay. So what I'm trying to figure out in my head is, I think the best way to do this is going to be I was just trying to see what is this probably shouldn't have been on release, but whatever. Okay, this is what I'm using right now just to test with. So let's I want to come up with a new sprite that's basically the box that goes around the current tile that you've, well, actually, you know what? I don't know if I want to do that. I wonder if I'm trying to think if it's easier to let's do something real quick here, because what I'm trying to think about is if it's easier to just paint these, I guess what I'm trying to think of is if I want to make a sprite of the things that you can add, and then what I'm thinking about is, can I make a sprite for each size of the tile map, and like here. So let's do this. So I want to make this easy. There's no way that that should be like that. Hold on a second. I need these two things. Let's copy them. I also want to see if I change the canvas size to 64, if this breaks it. Now let me export. I'm just trying to see. I was having some issues yesterday where things were a bit fragile if I made any changes, and then the plugin sort of failed. So I want to avoid that as much as possible. Let's see here. Assets, backgrounds, meta tiles, save, replace, yes, export. Oh my God, I can feel that sneeze coming. Let's see here. So now if we reload the assets and rerun this, let's just see if this changing the meta tile height broke anything. Error, cannot read properties of undefined reading to string. I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing that had something to do with breaking. Where is my images? Yeah, I didn't save it here, even though I thought I did. You know what? I wonder if, wait, no, I'm in the right place. I want to export as, I already updated it here. Let's go to tile sets, and I'll save it here. Yes, replace, export. This didn't seem to update the tile set. Let's quit out of this. Sure, we'll save. And then we'll go back into GB Studio. All right, will this build? Fingers crossed. All right, so while this is building, what my thinking was is that I want you to be able to move the I want you to be able to when you're moving a platform, to place a platform, that you see a full preview of the platform. And then from there, what I want to do is figure out how do we increase the platform, and how do we add it and delete it? Oh, okay, good. Everything's working. And I can still go through all these. Perfect. So I guess let's mock this up first, because building this in real time is just not going to work. So we have our level editor. Is this an Aseprite full? This is just a PNG, and this is in the backgrounds. Let me close this. I want to open up, or actually, you know what? Let's actually open that back up, and what we're gonna do is all right. All right, I'm trying to think of 18 things I want to do at the same time. Let's open up document, assets, Reaper Boy, editor. Oh, I moved it over there. I forgot. Cool. And then this is the meta tiles. I wish there was like a better way of... Shh. I don't know what Aesoprite is doing here. It doesn't seem to like... Oh, wait, no, okay, it's just... I didn't like the other way when the tabs are there, so, okay. What I'm trying to do now is, these are our meta tiles. Let me see if I can close... Okay, good, I can move these together. Alright, and let's just zoom out a little bit. Or what we'll do is we'll just move this down so we have more room. Okay. Actually, I need to see all these layers, so this isn't working how I want it to. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of a lot of these. Well, yeah, let's get rid of all this stuff right now so that we can just see how the tile map editor is going to work. This is sort of what I was talking about before, is that maybe what I can do is have it where you choose the size platform and you can get a sense of what it... You can get a sense of its full size while you're moving it around on the screen. And then if it overlaps with another platform, when we move it, then we'll just basically change it from its regular color to red, and I'll make a different color for it in the tile map editor. The only thing I don't like about that idea is that you can't really grow the tile. So, you know what? All right. So let's come here and let's make a grid, which is 8 by 8. And the first thing I was trying to figure out is how do we want this to actually like look? So let's get rid of all this. And I'm going to make a new group up here. We're going to call this a new group, and we're going to call this editor. And then I'll make a new layer inside of it. I was just moving this layer out of this group. Okay. So the first question really is, do we want to have a do we want to have some tools that can basically show you what's going on? So let's do this. I'm going to make a special platform. And let's just put this here. Let's snap to the grid. And then I just need this side of it. Oops, let's unsnap it. I'm just trying to figure out how to make the icon for the editor. Yeah, that didn't really work very well. What we'll do is I'm just going to draw this on my own. It's funny, it kind of just looks like a mushroom. I wonder if we just made it one big square. If that would give you enough of an inkling that it's a, oops. Just trying to get some of this wave that's in there. And maybe we'll just come in here and simplify this. Okay. So that's just the icon for whether we're going to select the, we're going to build a platform. The other icon I want was going to be for the exit, but it's going to be really hard to let me open up the sprites because we're going to need some sprites anyways. So Reaper Boy, Medium, we are here, projects, sprites. What happened to my assets? Sprites, here we go. So we're going to we'll open up these two guys. The grid settings are going to be 8 by 8. So we'll take this guy. We'll put this over here as the player. Then we're going to take this guy. Grid 8 by 8. And we're going to put him here. And so this is going to give us the things that we can add to the level. And the last thing we needed was a was the star, which I don't think is here. This I think is in the other project. So let's project assets. I think I had like a whole sprite sheet in here somewhere. Sprites. There we go. I was just trying to see if there's anything in here I can use. I have the star, which I can probably use as the exit. We can see about making that bigger. All right. Just going to try to grow this a little bit here, and let's see. Oops. I don't think this is going to scale very well. Oh. Actually, it's not that bad. Well, it looks like a star or an exit or something. I don't know. I did really want to use this, but I wonder if there's enough room to... Oh, there might be enough room. Oh, much better. we'll just use this as the exit. All right, so these are the three things that we can basically add to the tile map. I don't have any items or any other stuff. I haven't decided whether I'm going to add all that in yet. I don't even know if I have enough room for it. The other thing I was thinking I could do is that we can do S for start, S, E for exit, M for monster, and P for platform, and then we could just lay them all out as letters. I think it'd be more impressive if we actually just see what we're placing down. So the real question is what does this tile editor look like when we switch into tile mode? One of the things I was thinking, I do like how like right now it's sort of grayed out, so you'll be able to see like where you want to where you're allowed to do the editing. But okay, there's a whole bunch of things that I'm thinking about all at the same time, and I need to focus on what's going to work. The thing that I was just struggling with is that I'm using these colors. I'm already using these color palettes here, so it's always going to be this color. And what I was trying to think of is like where we can use this area here for selecting the tiles. I just wanted to know like what actually feels the most intuitive. And is this even the right thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that's the right amount. And then the other question is, do we want to have a grid? Or would just moving these guys around piece by piece actually be enough? So I'm going to do this. Let's just fill this in with these dark colors. It's funny, it looked like it was two different colors. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking on the meta tiles, we copy over these three things so that you can select. And what I'm trying to figure out, there's 4 buttons on the Game Boy. So I could do another one here that's just like a plain tile for erase. Maybe we should do that. So what I was trying to think about was, can we actually, I'm going to lay these out horizontally. One, because they're going to have to go back into the tile map like that. Also, in this version, we don't need this anymore. So what I was trying to think about was, let's do something like this. I'm going to go back here, even though I just deleted those things. Let's do this snapping thing. All right, we'll start with this. This is 15. And we're going to put it here. So what I'm trying to figure out right now, which is why I'm like, oops, no, what do you, I want to paste this and snap to the grid, but every time I do that, it snap to grid, paste. It takes some of the background with it. The two things I'm trying to figure out at the same time, which is why I'm slowing down here when I'm trying to speak, is that we have to have a screen for us to restore the we have to have a screen that allows us to restore the code and enter it, and then we need a screen that's going to allow us to edit the map. And what I wanted to do is that while you're editing the map, I wanted to be updating the code. What I'm just trying to figure out right now is, where do I put that code? And then when I need to restore the map, where will I actually use it? But right now I'm thinking that this will be where the code goes at the top. And I think that when you have to enter the code, there's only 16 characters. So you'll just go to a character and hit up or down, and then that will, like when you have one selected, and then that will let you set the code. What I was trying to think about is that there's a way that I can actually break this up a little bit into chunks of 4. So if we did 4, and then this is empty. So that's 4, 8, 16. That'll give us the ability to do a code of 32. So A, B, C. Let's just do D, E, F here. 0. And then we'll do well, actually we're gonna need to cut through a lot of this stuff. What guy on the right? Welcome to the stream. Let's paste these down. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we just need the 9 somewhere around here. There we go. Actually, that just reminded me. I forgot to message someone that messaged me yesterday on the chat. Let me. Whoops. No, come here. All right, I just need to text someone real quick, who I haven't seen in a very long time. Let's see, is this his phone number? Yeah. I'm on the... Okay. So now, what was I saying? Okay. So this was my thinking, was that you'd wind up having... Let's just get rid of this mask thing. You would have the ability to do this code. And what we should do real quick, I'm just going to keep mocking up this level editor. I'm just going to move this down here for a second. And I wanted to see if I came up with something like this. Actually, let's do this. Oops. Stop the snapping. Did I just draw anywhere else? Okay, good. I guess this is as good of a arrow as I'm going to get at this resolution. What I was trying to get this to be is that I wanted to see, there's not a lot of room up here, but what we can do is I can make this, let me pull this out and make it its own layer. Wait, but I need to make it a layer up here. Tiles. Shift. Let's paste this guy down, and then we're going to erase this stuff. What I wanted to see was if I moved something like this up here, when you are shift vertical. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something where I wind up I'm gonna do something where I mask out things. This is just a big annoyance because there's just not enough room on the Game Boy screen to do a lot of this stuff that I want to do. The other way of doing this is going to be, we could also just do this. We'll put this here for a second, as that this is the tile selector for entering in the code. I was trying to see, there's almost no way to like add any sort of like padding around these things. There's like very little room, and the problem I have is that if I do something like this, I'm gonna have to move these guys out of the way. Let's do that real quick. If I move this down here, oh wait, why am I not? What layer are these guys in? Oh, I must be painting this in the background like an idiot. Yup. Nailed it. Alright, let's do this. I'm going to just copy this and let's see if we can just undo all this mess that I made real quick. Come on, you can do it. I hope I have enough undos. There we go. Okay. So let's go back up here into this layer, and then let's do this. We're going to call this code. I wonder if that beeping noise on my laptop is Synergy trying to connect. It seemed to happen when I copied something and pasted it. And then over here, let's do this. And I do want to actually, I want to see the out of bounds. Is that? So let's make a red square here. And up here we'll do bounds. All right, we'll do we're gonna do over here, I'm just gonna make a new red box. Oh no, I want to do it this way down here. All right, so this is the editable area for the tile map. And one of the reasons why I'm mocking it up like this is that there's two things that I want to actually have happen. When you're making a level, I want you to be able to, I want you to either be able to enter in the code, or you can just start drawing and painting stuff. And as you draw and paint, you're going to see the code at the top change, because this right here should technically need to go down. Let's see here, code. I was trying to figure out if I can make a label here called CODE. All right. LE level. Typing like this is not fun. LEV level. VEL. All right, so what I'm just trying to figure out is you sort of need some spacing between this. I think what's going to wind up having to happen is I'm going to open up a different font, and I have one in documents, assets, medium. I need the large font. I think medium's going to be too small. Fonts. Don't make me go find this font again. Jesse Freeman. Projects. Archive. Pixel Vision 8. Pixel Vision 8. Demos, Discord, discs. Is there anything on here that has fonts? Tools, libs, nope. Special templates, no. Games, terminal has to have it. It has large font. There we go. Let's see if we let's do this. View, grid settings. We'll set this to 8x8. And we'll snap it. And so if we did this here, L, E, V, C, O, D, E, V, O, D. Over here, I'm just going to make a... I just want to see if putting this down would distinguish this font from that font. I just don't think I have enough room for more fonts. I don't think I have enough room in the meta tile for even another alphabet like this. So I think the only way that we're going to be able to do this cleanly is going to wind up being, they just have to be different colors. So let me undo these changes. So I think we're going to have something like level code like this, and what I'm trying to think about next is I need to have a layer. Got to start on my day. Have a good day. Yeah. Same to you. Thanks for joining. I know it's an odd time. I don't think a lot of people are available at this hour, but this is the hour that I can code. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take this layer here and we're going to make a selector. And the selector is going to be what goes around the tile that you are, whoops, get rid of the snapping. It's what goes around the tile that you are. All right, this is a bad place to put it. Let's put it, we'll just put it over here for right now. Whoops, not doing a good job here of keeping the mouse straight. Probably should just use a line. Oh my God, what am I doing here? Just making a mess. Whoops. Okay, where's the line? Like, why I'm doing this by freehand is beyond me. And then let's just erase these issues. So, okay. What'll wind up happening now is with this, you'll basically be able to see it'll snap to what you're focusing on. And then as far as the level goes, so my thinking is that if you go up to here, you can enter in the code. If you go down here, you can choose which one of these guys to pick. The only issue is that even though this is the ceiling, there can still be this piece right here above. So we need to go factor that into account. Like technically this can go anywhere. And the player can go anywhere too. So, but this is fine. This would just be, what I'm trying to figure out is like where I can put these, guys so that they're out of the way. And I was trying to see if there's enough room with these numbers and then to do these, but I mean, we could just, well, this is, there's not a lot of room, to say the least. But what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to at least give you the way of, I want to, if I can actually pull it off, I want you to be able to edit the level and play on it without having to change screens or reload it. So what has to happen is that this top area needs to, what I'm gonna, I guess what I'm thinking of doing is that I can make the level code, all this stuff on top, I can actually make that a layer on top of everything else, because the Game Boy does support a extra layer. So I'm not too worried about overlaying the map. What I need to figure out though is, am I going to overlay the map in a way where I start blocking out these tiles? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, this one's the problem, because whenever I want, if you make a start at the very top, you're gonna run into this guy. And what I want to see is, like, if he's behind here, I mean, it's fine. It's just going to be, it's just going to be like that. But what I am thinking of doing though is, I do like the idea of being able to like dim this part out. So I can come up with a palette that would dim it out, and I can apply that palette, I think, to everything. I'm going to take one quick break. I'm just going to switch my standing desk, and I will be right back, and then we'll continue to figure this out. Okay. So I mean, there's some other things we can do. Again, going back to, this is just going to be figuring out, there's going to be a lot of limitations. And what are those limitations? Now, I'm not so concerned with this platform being behind here, because it'll be anything that'll be in this area will be grayed out. And then the real question is though, will I be able to change? I don't know if I can change. Where is let's ask ChatGPT. Not like it's very good at this, but in GB Studio, can you change background? No, GB Studio is not currently allow changing the background palette colors dynamically during gameplay. Only set the back per scene. All right, I might be able to hack around that, but I also saw another plugin that the same person wrote that lets you copy out from a different scene the overlay. And what I could do in the other scene is, instead of it, since it doesn't need to be this dynamic meta tile thing, I can actually just use the other scene, and I can make assuming it copies over the tile map, I can, or at least assuming it copies at the palette, then I can basically use that as an overlay, and then you technically wouldn't even see. Maybe that's a good place to start in a minute. So I would like to make some progress on the stream today. I'm going to keep working on this all day today, but this is the one thing that I this is like the time that I have to chat. Okay. So let's go back here to the selector. And we need to get rid of snapping. And I want the selector to be above the bounds. So the selector is going to be the selector is always going to be a sprite, but we just got to be careful because this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sprites. And this will always be on the screen. There's no way that we're going to be able to get rid of this. I think what I'm thinking of doing is this. Okay, here's how I'm thinking about this interaction. Let me I'm just trying to see what the worst case scenario is. Let's say you make the... Oh, that's weird. Why? Wait. Why is this snapping the... There we go. Let's just say you make this... You put this guy here, then it'll just be grayed out. I'm going to actually borrow this mask. Out of bounds. I'm like, speaking of like running out of room, I'm like running out of room on this screen at this resolution. All right. I mean, I think this is what it's going to wind up looking like. There's no way to really... Grid settings. Let's get rid of the grid. So if you... What we could do is... where's the selector? Let's see, layer 2 are these guys. And we can hide the selector for a second. Or actually what we can do is let's copy the selector. I have another idea. Although it's not going to work. I was thinking that maybe we can put them around a box and then we just gray out or color whichever one we want to pick. But I'm getting concerned about like this. It doesn't seem like there's an easy way to do platform. I don't trust ChatGPT ever. Let's see, GB Studio. Background. Color palette. You can change background by accessing the palettes menu and modifying the color within the palette. You can create a new palette or no. How do you change background? Palette swapping. What happens to palette swap? Paint the scene. You know, palette swap, set background. Oh, I see. We can swap out the whole background, but we can't animating with palette swaps. Yeah, okay. So we can't change out a palette. I don't know why we can't. Change the palette, creating a color palette. Is there anything? Let's go in the Game Boy Studio for a second. I just want to see if there's anything here in these events. Palette. No. Set sprite palette, set UI palette, set background. Replace some or all the current scenes background palettes. Okay. That might be useful. We'll come back to that later. Basically, we can swap out the palette in wholesale, but that just affects all the sprites that actually use that palette. 5. I wonder if we go to the code here. Can we, whoops, let me go back to, I want to see the grid again. Can we center this? And if we got rid of this row, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're making, that looks a little bit better. So I wonder how I'm going to get these palettes. Like, there's just so many different like edge cases to think through ahead of time. Because I'm so limited in what I can do here. 6. All right, so the way that I'm thinking it should work would be like this. Let me go get the selector. All right, so by default, you can move between either of these in order to paint the the tile map. And then if you hit up, it would go to here. And then you can go left and right here. And if you do A, it'll start flashing at the code that you're at. And then if you do A, it'll go to the next code, or if you go to B, it'll just delete. And then this gives us the entire set. Now, the only other thing that we could do here, if we really wanted, would be I could delete this whole thing. And then when you come up here and you use, if you hit up from here, you would go into this. And then you would basically be able to hit up and down in the keyboard in order to cycle through the characters. And then this would put these guys here. So let me see the code. I'm going to make this, I'm going to get rid of this for a second, and we're just going to do a new layer. We're going to call it input. And I'm going to hide this for right now. Then if we come down to here, exit test sprite. Shh. Why is my computer still doing that? And then here it's going to be tile selector. So we could do it this way where we have the selector here and it just goes through, and what we can do is we could probably put another sprite in the center of it and we can make that. So what'll wind up happening is that these things will be sort of grayed out, right? And it isn't until you move over them and whatever goes in the center of this selector will be another sprite that's just in color. So like if you're up here, it'll start blinking, and if you're over here, it'll just let you pick between these. And then we don't have to worry about this thing. We don't have to worry about that guy now being blocked by the tile selector. And then we have a little bit more room now because we can at least just say the level the level code is just going to be its own area. What do we got? We got 4, 8, 12, 24. I don't know if what was my, let me go back to my math from the other day. We need 34 characters. One, two, three. Wait, if we added one more row over here, let's go back to code. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Man, it is just going to be a pain in the butt to create a 32 tile thing. And also I'm also realizing too, like there's no how do I distinguish between moving around here versus here? So all right, I guess if you hit select, no, oh my god, there's so many. I guess this is why nobody's made a level editor on a Game Boy before, or at least one that I've ever seen. I can't find a single game that does something like this. Let's see. I think we can use select to shift back and forth between these. My idea originally was to use select in order to go from playing to not, but I think we'll just use start. We'll pop up a menu, and then you can choose to either edit the level or play the level. So then here, if you want to get out of this, you would hit start, and we'd pop up the same menu. And then you would use select to switch between modes. So if you hit so this way, if you, well, no, I got to think through that, because what happens, how do you move left and right and up and down? Okay, that's the two modes you'll have to hit select for. Is select will either go to drawing mode or to selecting mode. So you would hit select, you have this selector now, and you can move left, right here in order to get a tile. If you hit up, it'll go here, and then you can move left, right, down, all this stuff down like this. And then if you hit, and then in this, if you click A, that will go into edit mode. And if you click B, that will exit the edit mode. Maybe that's actually it. Maybe if you click, yeah, no, this would be fine. And then, all right, and then if you just move back down to here, you're now back in the tile edit mode. I don't know. I'm not sure this is the best place to. I'm not sure this is the best place to actually enter in the level code while you can see the tile map. I do like the idea that as you enter in the level code, it shows you the tile map and you can see it in real time. I just don't know if you gain anything by being able to edit the level code in real time while you're using the editor. I definitely want it to be, though, that when you're coding, or when you're building out the level, you will always see this code because it'll be working. I just don't know if I want you to go back in and edit it. I mean, this might be an interesting way, though, to edit the level without having to deal with this. And then each change, you could see what winds up happening down here. My only concern is that if I switch to a 32 character, I don't know if I have enough characters here. Because this is 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. I do have 36, 8, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Okay, I do have enough characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35. All right, so I do have 32 tiles. So if it comes down to me having to reduce the number of tiles in order to enter the code, or increase the number of characters in order to reduce the number of tiles for the code, we can come back to that later. All right. I think the best thing to do right now is I'm going to create this sprite, and we're going to figure out this switching between here and here. We're going to create this sprite. I'm going to work on changing we're going to change the modes. This is some other things I'm trying to think of. Because sometimes these have a limitation, so there needs to be a counter for how many you have. I don't know where to display that yet. Like, there's... I guess if you try to add a new one, we could just pop up an error. We don't need to have it display all this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, it's 8. Let me think through this for a second, because I think, yeah, I think what we need to do is all right, we'll create this sprite. We'll add these to the tile map, and then we're gonna. I want to build out the logic to switch between play mode and edit mode. So let's start there, and then we'll go from there afterwards to something else. So what we need to do is we need to add these 4 guys to the meta tiles. So let's come back here. Let's find our tile selector, and we'll copy them and just put them here for a second. Why can't I make this black? Sure, whatever. All right, so then that gives us the characters that we can select, which is the only thing that we really need at the moment. We're also going to need to make sprites of these guys. All right, let's save this. Let's do save as, oh wait, I want to export as, we'll do this, yes, export, file, and then we'll export this, export as, we need to do this in the backgrounds for the meta tile to update that, yes, export, fine. Let's open up in the Reaper Boy meta tiles, assets, backgrounds. Let's open this guy up again. And I'm just going to delete all these levels, or these platforms, basically. And what we're just going to leave it with is there's always a start. And we can move this around later on, but let's save this now. And then let's go back into GB Studio and just make sure that we've reloaded all the assets and that we can play this correctly. All right, so that's good. I can still change tiles here, fine. So what we need to do now is we need to change this so that when we hit select or start, how about we'll do it when we hit start? I'm trying to remember how to do all this stuff. So press key, button, remove button, attach script to button, pause. What was I doing down here in order to, what am I doing here to, if on press, attach script to button B. All right, we'll attach this script to this button. The button is going to be start, and we're going to do a message, or yeah, message dialog. And we're going to do we should have a variable. Right now I'm just going to do toggle edit mode. And we'll have a behavior text finish, never, non-modal. Text open speed, presets, layouts. I don't know how you make a picker, but let's just see if we can get start to pop up this editor, and then we'll go from there. I can go look up real quick how that works. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to see, let's go here, GB Studio, modal picker. Whoops, I spelled modal wrong. Modal picker light refers to the color mode setting. You can choose from different. No, that's not what I'm looking for. So we can start with 4, however many characters. Look at the variable. Wait, how do you GB Studio? How to make modal or message picker? Steps to create a message picker. Choose layout style of the menu. Menu for single column or dialogue for a dialogue box. Is there a difference here? Layout. Text X, text Y, scroll height Y. Position clear, show frames. You can add a event behavior. Close when AB any presets. What is a preset? Layout? No. Maybe there's a picker. There we go. I think. Pick, layout. Oh, that just gave me a display with a delete event. That just gave me a display. All right, set the variable. Choose the variable you want to update within the player selection. Number of options. Specify how many menu options. To create a message picker with 2 options, yes and no, that sets a variable. Add a display menu. Is there a menu? Here we go. I just saw it. Display multiple choice. Can we not add text or something? What am I missing in this? Why is this so complicated for something that should be like really basic? But all right, let's try this and just see what happens. Okay, that's closer. And we just need to put this inside of a Attach script to button. I guess you can't change this to add text. I'll go look this up in a little bit, but I think right now what I'm going to do is let's just get a toggle going between whether it's in edit mode or it's oops. All right. I want this to be here on press override default button action. I don't think this is what I want either, but let's at least figure out how to get a toggle working. Oh, did that let me select? I think my I'm having some issues with like the input when I'm streaming my PC to my to OBS. On player head. On init. All right, so I'm gonna well, let's just disable this event. All right, so what we need to do is we're gonna have to have two pieces of logic here. First off, let's start with variables. We're gonna rename this variable. We're gonna call this edit mode, and edit mode is going to be a Boolean. So what I want to do is let's just attach it to here right now, and then I'll deal with that later. But we're going to do edit mode, and now this will set it to true, and this will edit map. All right, so I want to do a condition here. Let's insert an event before if variable So what I want to look for is if we have edit mode equals Boolean. If edit mode equals true, we want to display play map reset map. Those would be our basic choices for right now. And then if edit mode is false, we're going to copy this. I was going to try to paste it, but it doesn't want to let me paste anymore. Let's go into the else. And then we're going to do choice. Let's do. Oh, here we go. We display a menu. Does the menu give me text? This is weird, but it doesn't let me change. Hold on. I want to test this one out. I don't know. Hold on. Here, this visual scripting stuff drives me nuts. Okay, so what we're going to do is override the button actions on press if let's just disable this event. And I'll just do it this way. Menu. Oh, what's set dialog frame? Must be a tile set of 24 by 24. Oh, I can set up my own tile set. Interesting. All right, delete that. Let's just look at dialog and menus and see what's going on here. Close non-modal, set dialog frame, set text animate, display dialog, display menu. Multiple layouts are provided. Menu display as a single column on the right-hand side. Dialog displays a full-width dialog box with 2 columns. You can optionally set the B to close the menu. Multiple choice presents 2 options to the player, allowing them to make a choice. And write some text to a specific position on either the screen's background or the overlay. I would have to modify the font, right? This one's interesting. I like this writing text thing, but I don't think I can. I was just debating whether I can like use something like that for the level editor, but I don't think so. Where's dialogues? All right, so set 0 if B is pressed. All right, so this is attached to start. Let me just see what this looks like. What I just wanted to have some text, but maybe there's another tutorial or something that shows you how to do a oops. All right, so we hit start. And then it gives us our options. We can either edit the map, we can play the map, or we can reset. What I wanted to do is get this to a place of where if you're already editing the map, then we're not going to do anything. So let me actually let's do this. I wanted to draw text. This might actually be really good for debugging. Local. Wait, let's do temp 0. And I want to move this to 3, 2, and play this. What I want to see is that if I press that, this should now draw and display what we've selected, or at least the value of it. One. All right. 2 and 3. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is let's just add a condition here. If variable compared with value. So we want this to be the temp 0 So if it equals 0, it doesn't do anything. If it equals 1, let's copy this event but disable it. See, the real trick here is that I'm trying to think through the flow. Like, let me just write this down and then we will figure this out. So the way that it needs to work is that a new game, we create a new game, we set edit mode to equal false. So now, to toggle mode, so let's do this here. When the game loads up, we are going to insert an event before, and we're going to call this, we're going to do a set variable set to false, and we're going to change this to edit mode. So now what we want to do is we need to first test if edit mode is true. If it's true, we need to display we want to display menu with play map, reset, exit. If it's false, we want to display the menu with edit map, reset, and exit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is when we press this start menu, I'm going to clean this all up later. Right now, this is more of just seeing how this actually works. When the first thing we need to do when we press it is we need to see if we're in edit mode or not. So let's enable this event. So right now we are testing to see test edit mode value. So we test if the edit mode is true. We're going to delete this. We're going to move this into here. And then we have three choices that we can make, right? So if the edit mode is true, we are going to do play map, reset, oh, can we actually, oh, interesting. We can change the, we can actually assign a quit. All right, that makes this a lot easier. We don't even need to do this test really. What we need to do is on press, insert event above, we're going to set value, set variable to value. We are going to set a temporary 0 variable, and we're going to set this to a condition. We do need this. Sorry, bear with me as I figure this out in real time. All right, so if edit mode is true, we're going to call this, I'm just going to make this edit mode label. And if this is edit mode, we're going to set this to a string. Number. Constant property. Expression. I guess there's no way of just setting text. Comparison, Boolean. Guess we're going to need to set it to a constant. Can't do that, huh? It's starting to make sense because at least I know under the hood everything's really numbers. It's not like you have any strings. So this is not ideal, but does it mean that I can't change the label? Direction, expression, number. Is there something that I'm missing here? Counter, flags, math, seed, reset to false. All right, we can't use a variable here. I thought we'd be able to use a variable and then set the variable and then use that in the menu, but it doesn't like that because I can't set a variable to a string. So let's delete this. And we're going to copy this and I guess paste it above it. So if edit mode is true, we are going to set the edit mode. Oh no, wait, we're going to use this temporary tile ID. No, wait, we had like a temp 0 that we can use. The option choices are going to be 3. And if edit mode is true, we want to go to play map, reset map, reset and quit. And I don't know what the difference is between, I guess the menu is centered in the screen. Let me see if I can just get this going. I don't think this is going to actually work because I don't think I have it set to true yet. So I'll have to switch that on the other side of the condition. Yeah, that didn't work because the condition is false. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Let's start it out this way, because it's always going to be false. Let's start it at edit map. And then here, if it's not, if local, why is edit mode not edit mode? The edit mode. All right, so this is a variable edit mode, 3 options. And then if not, we're going to do the same thing here. Edit mode. I actually want to get rid of it. No, that's fine. There was somewhere else where I guess I had that thing. Must have been in one of the local properties. I just saw there's another thing that's just misnamed. So, okay, so if edit mode is true, we want to go to play map. Reset and quit. All right, when you're actually playing the game, you want to be able to restart it, not just well, I'm gonna delete all this stuff. We don't need this, and we don't need this. Let's play now. Basically, if you're already playing the map, you just need to you can restart the level. If you're editing it, you want to reset the map. So we hit start. I don't know why it comes up like that. I think I'd rather have it the other way, but it's fine, I guess. I don't know. We would hit edit map, and then we would go into edit mode. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add we're still within this on press. We're going to add an event here for if variable compared with value. And we're going to look for the local. Edit mode label. What is this variable? Wait. I just realized I'm missing something here. This really needs to be temp 0. This is what we're doing here. This is temp 0. And then here we're comparing temp 0 to which ID it is. So if it's 0, we do nothing. If it's 1, we now need to toggle the play mode. So I'm going to create a script here that's going to be called script toggle edit. And then up here, what we're going to do is if it's 1 from either one of these selections, we are going to call toggle edit mode. Let's call this script toggle edit. And then in here, we're going to draw. Well, actually, we'll do a condition. If variable if the variable is false when we go to toggle, the variable we're looking for, we don't need this by reference. We're just going to look for the actual edit mode. Variable edit mode. We are going to set variable set to true, and we're going to set the v edit mode. And then on the other end of it, we're going to set the variable set to false, and we're going to use the edit mode. Then we're going to draw the text, and we'll just do it here for right now. Three. No, we want it right here. So this is what, 2, 3. We'll deal with the overlay later. All right, so we're gonna just do this draw text copy, and then here, this needs to be inside of the else. We're gonna paste the event after, And we're going to, if edit mode is, so wait a second here. If edit mode equals true, if edit mode equals false. Okay, so if edit mode equals true, we need to toggle the variable, paste an event before. Oh no, we're already doing that. I'm just not paying attention. All right, here we go. We're going to set if this variable equals true, draw. Here we're setting a condition. All right, I see. This is the way they had this condition set up was just kind of weird. I wasn't understanding what was happening here. If it's true, what? All right, so if edit mode is true, we are going to set edit mode to false. Oh no, you know what? I see what it was doing. Interesting. Okay. It was, what it was actually doing was it was adding this condition. So we'll do it in reverse. It's just, I'm just trying to think of what the cleanest way to do this is. So if we do edit mode true, so here we're testing. If edit mode is true, we are going to set it to false. Boolean false. And then we're going to change this to play. Then on the other side, we're going to turn this Boolean true. And we're going to make this edit at the same position. All right, let's try this real quick. That's going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then I'll be back. So let me just see this now. So what I want to do is I hit start. We edit the map, and we're in edit mode. Now if we hit start, and we go to play map, we're in play mode. All right, we're getting closer. We're making a little bit of progress. All right, I'm going to be right back, and then we'll continue this editor. All right, I am back. And now hydrated. Okay, so where we left off is that we can now switch between these modes. So what I'm just trying to think of right now is that, let's say in edit mode, we draw the play. Now what we want to do is hide the actor. And we're going to hide the player. If we're in... Actually, we did this in reverse. If we go to edit mode here, we want to show actor as player. And then here we're hiding the actor. And then what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to try to get this, well, I should be able to get this. I need to figure out how the overlay stuff works. All right, so now we're in edit mode. And now we can go to play mode. All right. Yep. So now we have, oh, I keep hitting start like an idiot. I don't know why there's such a weird delay for hitting the A button, but okay. So now we got our guy and we can go into edit mode. So let's do this. Let's save this right now. And then I think what I really need to start figuring out is the overlay stuff. Let me see what happens when we go into here. We hide the actor and we show the overlay. And let's actually look up. There's two things I want to look up. First off, GB Studio, how to use overlay. Changing the overlay color, writing tiles based on the value of the variable. How to make an overlay. So this guide will show you how to make an overlay. Open the Open HUD script. The Open HUD script is quite straightforward. We will call this script once. Anytime the HUD is not displayed, it needs to be open. Your Open HUD script will consist of two events. The first event is a set text animation speed event that sets everything to instant. That's because we're technically drawing text to make our HUD. And of course we want to update it. So the second event is the script event, the GBVM shown in the code block below. It uses the VM overlay show to show the overlay starting at 00 with a blank white background and no extra options. Okay. Why doesn't... Let me see what this does. There's another plugin that I might go try to check out real quick, which is just, it lets you edit map. Oh hey, look, it showed us the overlay, huh? B play map, edit map. Interesting. Can you make the HUD at the top of the screen? GB Studio HUD at top of screen. Let's see here. This guy shows you how to get the HUD on top. All right, static parallax method. The background for the path, simple HUD. Path to sample town. The top row doesn't move, but the code still needs to be added to get the counter to update when the turnips are defeated. I like skimmed through this too fast. There are a few ways you can make sure that all the tiles you need to address are unique. One method is to copy. Oh, that's a different thing. If you want something like a Tetris HUD, not to mention getting the actual Tetris mechanic, we'll be using the same method that Super Mario Brothers used on the NES, which and fix the position of the top row of tiles used as your HUD. While it might seem like it's moving with the player in the game, it is in fact a static row. First, I'll use my favorite image editor. All right. Again, the top row of the HUD is one screen wide. Now we need to tell Jupyter that that portion of the screen is going to stay in place. Click on the scene in question to bring up the information sidebar on the right. And set the layer 1 to row 1. This is the height of the layer. Then the first row is to be fixed position. With everything set correctly, it should look like this. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to keep hitting the mic like that. All right, I'm going to look up this other thing. Miko had another plugin here. He's the one I'm using for the tile map stuff. So there's submapping EX single scene scroll. What does this one do again? Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting one. That's a Zelda like one. Here's the submapping EX pixel. All right, this plugin is for partially copying a scene to the overlay or background. Also added events to say if you're using GBS4 and use the 4 plugin. There's 2 versions of event. If you're using the common tile set between the scenes, then you can copy from. If you're not using common tiles, you can use the copy scene sub map to overlay with tile offset. We're going to VRAM, we're doing this, clone the submap to the background tile set. Now has the option to specify the pointer bank address of the scene for dynamic loading. All right, let's give this a try. What else do I got to do? Let's download this and we'll take a look at the examples and see what's in here. It doesn't tell me what example is actually using. I don't think I can open 2 at the same time. Let me quit out of this. And then we'll open up this and just take a look at what's in here. Sure. taking a look here at Pokemon Battle UI. Interesting. This one's taking a while to load. Let's see what the code looks like. Oh, it's doing something now. What is this HP layer? Pokemon Battle UI. Copy the scene submap to the background. Group submap from same scene. Is there a script or something here? Copy scene submap to background tile set. What if we copy the scene to the foreground? I'm just trying to see if there's anything here that sets it to the overlay. All right, back to the documentation. All right, so copy scene submap to background tile set. Now is the option to specify the pointer bank address of the scene for dynamic loading. If you're not using a common tile set between the scenes, use the copy scene submap to overlay with the tile effect. Copy scene submap to overlay with tile offset. All right, let's make a subscene here real quick and see if we can get this working. So the subscene is going to basically be this same exact thing. Let's do this. Technically, it's going to be all of this, right? What do we got? Down to 1. So we'll copy this, make a new file, and move this into our group here. Then we're going to take, I think we still have to do this stuff. I still think we have to do this stuff where we create separate, we have to create like a unique tile. So hold on, I can finish my thought in a second when I'm looking at how to fix this. Grid 8, 8, okay. Do that. Let's snap to the tile. Let's paste. And now we have our tiles for editing. The next thing we need to do, and this is why I came over to this one, is that we're going to pull in all the letters. And I'll show you why in a second. So in this case, we want to have this as a separate layer. I'm going to move them over as needed, but the first thing we're going to do is let's copy this and paste it. And we'll delete that. So this will be the, it'll just say level code there. And then what we're going to do is 3. I'm just trying to think about how we can just copy this whole thing over for right now. And then I'll make it unique. No, that's not going to work. All right. This was one whole code. And this is one whole code. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this is 1632. So that gives us 32 for the code. And what I wanted to do is just visually break this up a little bit. So we had 5. Well, can we do this in 8s? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Four, 4, 10. So we did 10, 8, that's 18, 32, right? My math. We do 4 plus 4 plus 5 equals 13, and 13 multiplied by 2 is 26. I think for right now, just to make sure that I get this right, I'm just going to make the level code this gigantic, obnoxious thing. And I'm going to save this out now as a PNG. And I'm going to save this into the background. So we're going to call this map editor. And if we come back here, let's quit out of this. And then I'm going to copy the plugin over. Document asset, Reaper Boy. No. I want documents, this, plugins, metatile. This plugin is going to be called Snapping MapEx4, and then let's reload our project. So now let's create this new scene and see if we can get this metatile, no, I want a new scene. We'll paste this one down here because it's going to be small. And yeah, here we go. We're just going to make this scene the, we're going to call this editor. And then our goal is to copy this over to here. And now let's take a look at how to do that next. So if we come back to here, we have the player menu. Let's see, on press, we display the menu. We have our options. then we're going to call the toggle script. Excuse me, that's where we need to do this. So here we're showing the overlay. There should be a new thing here. For copy scene submap to overlay. Copy scene submap to overlay with tile offset. We'll do the tile map editor. Background X, background Y, overlay. The width. Is that width in tiles? 19, 17. So width is 19, 17. All right, let's just see if this copies. The thing that I didn't understand about the overlay before was that the overlay didn't, it just like took over the entire screen. So right now I'll just see if I can get this thing to copy, and then we'll go back and figure out why the overlay takes over everything. Because in theory, this is sort of what my idea is that we use the overlay for the tile map editor, toggle that visibility, and then we use sprites just for selecting in the tile map editor, and we'll just switch between hiding and playing the map. So, all right, we got this. Let's hit start. Let's edit our map. Well, it did something. Interesting. It looks like it copied. Can we? Play. Edit map. What is going on here? Let's do width of 1, background X, background Y, overlay X. Let's do 2, 2, and just see if there's any, like, if anything just shifts around. Well, if we look at the overlay, it moved it over 2, 2, and the width is 1, 1. So the real question is, what happens if we go for white? Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 by 8. And then what I want to do in this tile map editor is I want to set this to the same meta tile and see if that helps too with copying this data over. Hey, look at that. It's actually doing it now. Now, let's go back to this script. I want to set this to black and see what happens. And then we'll move the X and the Y and see if we can move it up and out of the way, so that we can at least see some of the other stuff below it. All right, progress. So let's move this over 2 and down 2. little bit of trial and error until I understand what I am doing. I've never done any of the overlay stuff in GB Studio, so I understand how overlays work on the Game Boy at the hardware level, but I don't know how they're implementing it. Come on. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Now, the real question is, can we make this negative or not? Perfect. All right, so we're going to do 0, and we're going to, I'm trying to remember, let's see, how big is this map? I'm assuming this is in tiles. So what we need to do is we need to figure out this is 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's do this as -10. And then here on the overlay X, we're going to move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll move this to 10 as well. We'll leave the overlay X as 1. And let's run this. What I'm trying to do is two things at the same time to see if this works. I'm trying to move the overlay up, which is why I'm giving it a -Y position. And then I'm trying to move the copied tile map data from the editor scene to the bottom so that it basically moves everything up and all you see is the editor at the bottom, and we can still see everything from the map below. Negative, Ghost Rider. That did not work. I guess it doesn't like negative numbers. How do you... How do we create... let's look at the document there. GB Studio overlay. Actually, I'm going to... I am going to break for lunch, and then I'll probably play around this. I have some other stuff I need to do this afternoon, so I don't think I have like good blocks of time to stream. But I'm going to continue to play around with this, and then tomorrow I will be back. And tomorrow what I'll do is I should have a good chunk of this up and running. So I'll try to get rid of the most tedious stuff today that isn't fun to watch, and then tomorrow we'll actually start getting into some cool stuff. So all right, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.